Congratulations, you're a panda. A fluffy, roly-poly, bamboo-munching bear plopped straight into the most nightmarish era in Earth's history. You don't know how you got here. Maybe some time travel experiment gone horribly wrong. Maybe a cosmic joke at your expense. But here you are, 66 million years too early, surrounded by dinosaurs that do not care how cute you are. At first, you don't even realize how much trouble you're in. The sky is blue, the trees are tall, and for a brief, blissful moment you think, oh, this isn't so bad. Maybe I just woke up in a weird forest. But then the ground shakes. A shadow passes overhead. You look up and see a creature the size of a moving truck with teeth the length of your arm. It's not a bear, it's not a bird, and it sure as hell isn't something that should exist outside of nightmares. Your panda brain, which has spent generations mastering the art of munching on plants and napping for 16 hours a day, goes into full meltdown mode. Your first instinct is to waddle toward the nearest tree and climb, because that's what pandas do when they're scared. There's just one problem. This is not your forest. The trees here aren't the friendly, sturdy bamboo stalks of your home. They're gigantic, prehistoric gymnosperms, some of which are covered in needles or oozing toxic sap. You grab onto a trunk hoping to escape, only to realize it's slick with something that smells vaguely like rotting meat. Congratulations, you just climbed a tree where some carnivore stashed its leftovers. Meanwhile, the dinosaur that just passed over you? Yeah, it definitely noticed you, and it has questions. Namely, what the hell is that? Followed closely by, can I eat it? Spoiler alert, the answer is probably yes. So now you're sitting there, hugging a tree that's actively trying to kill you, while a curious predator sniffs the air and takes a step closer. You suck in your gut, not that it helps anyway, and try to look as non-edible as possible. The dinosaur tilts its head, intrigued. You tilt yours back, terrified. Somewhere in the deep, primitive part of your mind, you wonder if playing dead will help. Another spoiler. It won't. And this is just the first 5 minutes of your new life in the Cretaceous. Things are only going to get worse from here. Step 1, realizing you are very, very screwed. Your big panda brain, which in the modern world was already a little questionable, is now completely useless. You've spent your entire evolutionary journey specializing in eating soft, defenseless plants. Bamboo, to be specific. Too bad bamboo doesn't even exist yet. So what's your plan now, big guy? Gonna ask the local ferns if they taste like home? Spoiler. They don't. Half of them are toxic, the other half are barely edible, and all of them will leave you gassy and miserable. You're not built to be a generalist. A grizzly bear, for example, would probably be fine. It could scavenge, hunt, and adapt. But you evolved into a chubby little vegetarian that barely even wants to be alive in the best of times. In the Cretaceous, everything is the worst of times. Step 2, meeting the locals. You know how in the modern world the scariest thing you have to worry about is a snow leopard? Stealthy, sure, but still just a regular-sized cat with commitment issues. Try Tyrannosaurus rex. It's not stalking you because it's hungry. It's stalking you because it's confused about what kind of bloated monochrome marshmallow just stumbled into its territory. And when a T-Rex is curious, it investigates the only way it knows how, by biting. Your best defense? Rolling into a ball and hoping for the best, which, let's be real, is not a strategy that works when the thing trying to eat you has teeth the size of bananas. But don't worry, if the T-Rex doesn't get you, the raptors probably will. You see, they're not as big, but they think they are. They're fast, mean, and disturbingly intelligent, like prehistoric honey badgers with a personal vendetta against anything that looks remotely helpless. That means you. Then there's Deinonychus, the raptor's bigger, meaner cousin. If raptors are a gang of delinquent teenagers, Deinonychus is the full-grown criminal with something to prove. It's about 10 feet long, packs a kick strong enough to disembowel a triceratops, and travels in packs. You're just a slow, chubby bear that doesn't even have decent claws. This is not a fair fight, and let's not forget the crocs. Modern pandas don't really have to worry about crocodiles, but that's only because today's crocs are lazy, relatively small, and mostly confined to warm areas. In the Cretaceous, you've got Dinosuchus, a crocodile the size of a city bus, lurking in every body of water you're stupid enough to go near. If a raptor doesn't get you on land, congratulations, you now have the privilege of being snatched off the riverbank and dragged into the depths. Step 3, the insects want a piece of you too. Even if, by some miracle, you manage to not get eaten, bitten, poisoned, or starved, the earth itself will turn against you. The Cretaceous is not a friendly place. Modern pandas deal with the occasional bee sting, but here, the insect kingdom has gone full nightmare mode. There are the mosquitoes. And when I say mosquitoes, I mean prehistoric bloodsuckers the size of your thumb. These bad boys are basically flying syringes, and they come in swarms. You think pandas are slow now? Imagine one trying to outrun a cloud of prehistoric parasites, each one eager to stab through your fur and turn you into a walking juice box. You try rolling in the mud for protection, except the mud is already full of biting mites. And now you just smell extra delicious to every bloodsucker in a 10-mile radius. And don't forget the termites. Oh, you didn't think termites would be an issue? Well, surprise, prehistoric termites are on a whole different level. Some species grow as big as your paw, and their jaws can slice through solid wood like butter. You try to take shelter in a fallen log, desperate for a break from the heat, predators, and flying bloodsuckers, only to realize that the entire thing is crawling with termite soldiers. You thought your biggest problem was T-Rex? Nope. You're up against millions of tiny organized monsters, all determined to turn your hiding spot into their next buffet. And let's not forget the parasitic wasp. Yeah, those exist. And you're basically a giant, slow-moving target. Some of these prehistoric nightmares lay their eggs inside living creatures. You're too big to be their usual host, but that doesn't mean they won't try. You might not even notice at first, just an itchy sting, a little swelling, until days later when you start feeling odd. Congratulations, you're now the unwilling incubator for something that will hatch, crawl out of you, and not even say thank you. So, to recap, you're slow, your paws are useless. The bugs here are big, bloodthirsty, and totally uninterested in how endangered you are in the future. You might survive the dinosaurs, the heat, and the food shortage, but at some point you're going to have to face the fact that your downfall might just come in the form of an overgrown mosquito with an attitude problem. Step 4. The climate hates you, even if the predators and insects don't kill you. The Cretaceous climate is a nightmare roller coaster. Scorching heat, sudden monsoons. You were designed for cool, misty mountains, not for trudging through prehistoric swamps. Your fur isn't just inconvenient, it's basically a death sentence. Your body doesn't know how to deal with this kind of heat. Pandas weren't built for temperature regulation in a world where the air feels like a sauna run by Satan himself. Instead of cooling down, you just pant like an asthmatic pug. But that only makes things worse because now you're dehydrating faster than a raisin in the sun. And guess what? There's no conveniently placed freshwater stream to lap from. Even if you do find water, you might hesitate because every puddle, swamp, and river is full of prehistoric horrors, just waiting for some overheated idiot to waddle too close. Half the trees around here aren't even real trees. They're gigantic ferns, cycads, and conifers, most of which barely provide cover. You know how modern pandas love lounging under bamboo groves, all cool and comfy? Forget that. You're now hunched under a bush the size of a bus, sweating through your monochrome coat while some unseen creature hisses from the undergrowth. Try hiding underground? Nice thought. Except every burrow is already occupied. Burrowing raptors, nightmarish amphibians, and possibly some kind of proto-mammal with anger issues. You poke your head into a hole, thinking, maybe I can just lie low until sundown. But instead of a cozy den, you're met with a pair of glowing, unblinking eyes and a guttural hiss, and don't even think about hibernation. You, a species that relies on seasonal food cycles and cozy winter naps, are now stuck in a world where seasons barely make sense. Some areas stay warm all year. Others have temperature swings so extreme they'd make your fur-covered brain short-circuit. Your instincts scream for winter, but winter isn't coming. Only endless heat, brutal storms, and humidity that soaks your fur to the bone, making you smell like a wet carpet that wandered into a swamp. So now here you are, sweating, exhausted, and vaguely miserable, too hot to function but too scared to sleep. You want nothing more than a cold rock to lie on, but instead you're trapped in a land where the climate itself wants you dead. Step 5. Your extinction comes early, even if you survive the prehistoric nightmare that is daily life in the Cretaceous, dodging raptors, overheating under the brutal sun, and eating ferns that taste like expired cardboard. It's not like you're going to live happily ever after, because guess what's on the horizon? A giant asteroid. One day, you're just minding your own business, still confused about why everything in this era wants you dead, when suddenly, boom, a flash in the sky, a distant rumble. You look up, squinting with those adorable but utterly useless panda eyes, and see a bright streak cutting across the atmosphere. You don't know what it is. You don't even know what a rock from space is supposed to look like. But instinct tells you that whatever's happening, it's bad. At first, nothing changes. The birds keep chirping or screeching because nothing in the Cretaceous is pleasant. The river, where you have narrowly avoided being eaten by a crocodile the size of a school bus, keeps flowing. But then the sky gets darker. The air starts feeling wrong. There's a pressure, a weight, like the planet itself is holding its breath. Then the real nightmare begins. The asteroid smashes into what will one day be Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. A shockwave rips across the planet at speeds your panda brain cannot even begin to comprehend. Trees are flattened, mountains tremble, and you, poor, defenseless, very much out of place panda, are hit with a wall of air moving faster than a commercial jet. If you're lucky, it just knocks you off your feet and sends you rolling like a very confused confused, very doomed tumbleweed. If you're unlucky, well, let's just say you probably won't have time to process the unfortunate turn your life has taken. But if you do survive the initial impact, things only get worse. The blast ignites massive wildfires that spread faster than you can waddle. Remember how you were already overheating in this sweltering prehistoric climate? Now everything is on fire. The forests, the ferns, the very ground you were miserably trying to eat from, gone, replaced by an inferno stretching as far as the eye can see. Maybe you try to flee. Maybe you scramble toward a river, hoping that Dinosaurs has already been incinerated, so you don't have to worry about being dragged under. Maybe you try to find shelter in a cave, forgetting that caves in the Cretaceous are almost certainly already occupied by something with more teeth than you, but none of it matters. The sky itself is betraying you now. Ash and debris fill the air, blocking out the sun. The once humid swamps turn into apocalyptic wastelands. Temperatures drop. The world once teeming with life, most of which wanted to eat you, is now a hellscape of dying plants and starving animals. There is no bamboo. There is no cozy mountain forest to retreat to. There is no adorable, bumbling panda survival strategy for global mass extinction event. And so, after everything, the raptor chases, the battles with prehistoric mosquitoes, the constant existential crisis, you become just another casualty of the most famous extinction event in history. You, a panda, are reduced to a pile of bones. Maybe millions of years later, some paleontologist unearths your fossilized remains and loses their mind, trying to figure out why a giant bear that eats bamboo was hanging out with dinosaurs. But for you, there's no poetic ending, no triumphant survival story, just the cold, indifferent reality of the universe reminding you that you were never meant to be here in the first place.